Islam, 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 Islam. Salamu alaikum. Shabbat shalom. Shalom. Peace. Peace to all the nations out there, man. Peace to all the nations, man. But I gotta give a special shout out to my nation, Moab, the Moorish Empire. So you guys see the title. Y'all see what I'm getting ready to go in on. But let me enlighten y'all about something else real quick. So listen to this. Wait a minute. Let me mute up. Shabbat Shalom. Islam Salaam Alaikum. Real quick, read something. It's in this book that I'm reading. Look at the video before this. So, this is in chapter 1. It says, since Moors were the Tartarians, according to Gothic architecture all over the world, but mainly in the Americas, this means that modern day Europeans did not build any of these Greco-Roman Gothic structures in old world America, because a previous advanced American civilization called Moors, and Berber Indians, India, all one and the same people, because they are both the Khmer, Khan, Kim, Shem, Cam, Ham, Sam, I am people from India Superior that civilized the world. And this post is a map of India Superior in America. Islam. So yeah, that was a little quickie that I did on my channel, Paris the More. Yeah, man, hey, it's self-explanatory. All you gotta do is go to the internet. If you can't afford to buy this book, if you go to the Internet Archive and you type in the search box Tartary, the greatest civilization ever to be erased from history, ever to be erased from history. You hear me? Ever to be erased from history. Right? So in the late 1800s, I'm going to say around 1871-ish, went round in there. That's when they started with the Reconstruction Act and denationalizing us. Okay? Us so-called, i.e., African Americans in America. So that's what the whole book is. Pay attention. Read that book. Okay? Read that book. Read that book. It's serious. Let me see if somebody came in real quick. Hold up. Brandon Rogers. You already know. Shouts to Brandon Rogers. Hold up. I gotta send some love back to the God, man. Hold up. Hey, B, can you hear me, B?
Give me a 1, B, if you can hear me, B. Please tell me you can hear me, bro. Last time they played games with my audio. I need to make sure that y'all can hear me, because my commentating, they ain't catch none of that, because I was going in. Please, God. Hold up. Got to holler at B. Brandon always coming through. He only deal with the real ones. One thing I love about him, he only deals with the real ones. Shout out to Brandon Rogers. Peace, God. Peace, God. Brandon Rogers. Yeah. Brandon Rogers. All right. So, where am I going? Okay, I'm gonna let y'all see. Let me screen. Let me share screen. Give me 1 second, family. Let me share screen. Very important, man. This is very important. This is not no joke. This is serious. So I just need y'all to understand that this is serious. Okay? So, share screen. Boom. All right? Because I went, see, because for a long time, we couldn't talk about this. For a long time, my lawyer was like, no, 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 no. Don't go with no, 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 no. So, after everybody has been interviewed, all the paperwork is like in, it's all in, and like now we just waiting for them to do right. That's it. I mean, come on, man, do it's time to do right. But it's killing them, because when you dealing with this white, man, I call them pink, okay? Because white, no, what I see is pink, the same color as a pig. That's what I see. So I can't do the the W word. I can't do it, because all I see is pink, and we know status white makes you above. No, you're not. You're under. You're beneath. No, 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 no. So here go the article, right? So it say 7 former it's 15 of us, but they only put 7 right here, right? So 7 former Baltimore gas and electric workers, all of them Moors. I don't say this nasty ass word black because it don't mean shit. And I can't stand this word. I can't stand this word. Do the knowledge on this word and you'll understand what I'm talking about. This ain't us, okay? We are Moors. That's it. We are not black. We are not Negro. We are not colored. We are not none of them goofy ass straw man titles that they gave us. They took our nobility away from us. Okay? They snatched our vice royalty away from us. All right? And we gotta understand this, man. This is the whole purpose of proclaiming your nationality. Once you proclaim your nationality, then that means you're opting out of the black, the African American, the colored, the nigger, you know what I mean? All this names they try to dog us with, when we are the real vice royalty. We are the real noble. We are the real regal. We are the real royalty. We are the real everything. You guys, I don't understand how you pink supremacists. I don't understand, because y'all haven't done nothing. What have y'all done to uplift America? I'll wait. What have y'all done? Wait a minute. Let me make sure I'm off my mute. Hold up. Okay, I'm off my mute. B gave me a 1. He can hear me. Cool, I'm good now. All right, B can hear me. All right, cool. I'm good. All right, so look, we already know, man. We know the story, okay? We know the story. So look, okay, so these Moors, us, 15 of us, are suing the utility for allegedly, you already know, perpetrating a deep-seated culture of racism where Moore's employees regularly endured racial slurs, discrimination, and at least one instructor who tied nooses in front of them. Man, do you know that I was in training? We trained for 2 years, okay? I was in training. And because you got to know how to tie different knots. You know, when you at the top of these 80-foot poles, it is not a game. It's very dangerous. You can't be on no lunchtime or none of that. You can't be thinking about the argument that you and your girlfriend or you and your wife had the night before. Bro, you can't be thinking about none of that stuff, man. You have got to be focused. I'm talking about really focused. Because one slip up, one oops up there with that 33 kV and gas underground with that high pressure gas. Okay, it is not a joke, bro. People die, people blow up in holes, people get electrocuted. This is serious. Do you know how many times I had a crew leader tell me? Crew leaders are like foremen. They call them crew leaders at BGE. They call them crew leaders, right? So these crew leaders, they are the ones that are watching you so that you be safe. Man, at the 2 years of training, I'm looking at my foreman I'm looking at my crew leader going, what the, bro, this ain't safe. I ain't supposed to be doing this. I had to wonder, like, man, you don't know how many times I had to wonder, is this man trying to kill me? Is this man trying to kill me? Not even really, this ain't right. I was trained that we ain't supposed to do this. But behind all the racist, redneck, uh, disrespectful, heartbroken comments that they used to make to us all day long, man. All night long, man. I'm talking about from the crew leader to the supervisor to the management, all the way up to HR, bro. All of them, in cahoots. All of them. If one of them say it, the other one say it. If another one say it, the other one gonna say it. They don't even check to see if they don't care. Especially if it's coming from one of us. If it's coming from one of us, oh, he said you did it, you did it. Dumb. I had a whole situation, man. But I'll talk about that in a minute. But let's get to this. So they said they seen what? They said they seen what? Where it go? Where is utility pressure discrimination? Okay. And one instructor, right? One instructor, it was many of them, not just one. It's just this fool, he was so, into his white supremacy. I can do anything I want to do because we don't never get in trouble for it. And at all, his supervisor gonna ride, his supervisor gonna ride, and then the HR, then they go ride. They all ride together, all against the Moors, i.e. the black people and the so-called, what they call black people in BGE, Exelon. Straight up. My lawyer told us for years we couldn't go in. We couldn't talk about it. We couldn't. Boy, it took so much. But like I said, I want to give a shout to PNF Research Channel. PNF rung the alarm. And when he rung the alarm, I said, boy, oh boy, do I got some stories for the Moors. And whoever else want to listen, man, all you Indios, all you wigwam nothings, yo, y'all is y'all going back to the Burn Street? Y'all ain't nothing but Sabe. That's funny. How are you an indigenous Atachton, you're Indians, but you're from the Bering Strait? You're from Alaska. You a Eskimo. Okay? So how was you an Aboriginal? How was you a Moor? How was you indigenous to America when you come from the Bering Strait? How? I know y'all feet was cold as shit walking across that ice. Y'all ain't had no ships. Y'all ain't had nothing. But y'all little half of clothes, no non-dress. Every time you see Moors, man, all the way up to 1100 to a thousand, because we know that a lot of these dates ain't right. We know that the dates are all fake. Like 1,000 years, they all made all these phony, dates. We already know Anatoly Fomenko, he did the homework. And then we did the homework right behind him, and we found out that a lot of these dates, boy, they off. A lot of these dates are off, are off, are off. Now, I said what I said, the noose. Okay, let me share screen. Let me share. Yo, this is a serious topic, y'all. I hope y'all hearing this, man. This is very important, and I hope that y'all please thumb up the video, man. Please thumb up the video, share it, and subscribe to the channel, please. But I'm just asking that you thumb up the video and that you share it to at least one person. That's all I'm asking. Moors, we have got to support one another because ain't nobody else gonna do it. They still in dum-dum land thinking that they Indios and thinking that they come from somewhere else that they not from. We enslavement of the mind. Okay? The slave story was told in reverse. And we wasn't the Slavics. We wasn't the Slavs. We wasn't the slave. It wasn't us. We was the ones that was running this shit. You hear me? Yeah. And like, we ain't like we wasn't running down doing nothing dirty. We was running around helping. We was running around getting people right. That's what we was doing. Only time we came around to slap something up is because you must have been doing something wrong. That's it. We used to police the world. The world. So let me share a screen. Boom, your boy. Fool. Somebody took a picture of him. And guess what? Look at him. He's laughing. He's tying the noose. Look. BGE hat. Hard hat. Okay? You can't hide, buddy. We know everything. And y'all asses is pissed and on fire. I mean, hey, it's time. Y'all deserve it. Y'all had a nice run. Y'all had a nice run. BG&E been in business since the late 1800s because we know that we had free energy. We had free energy. Energy used to be free. You hear me? A law sent it free. Okay? Allah sent it free. Okay? Electromagnetic energy. Free electromagnetic energy. Until these nuts got a hold of it and figured out how to bottle it up and sell it to us. It used to be free. Man. So yeah, you see this nut ass. This he in training class. He's training people, okay? And hold up. Do I got something else on there? Hold up. Okay. Formats. So y'all see what's going on. Look. He's training new recruits like me. I was a new recruit. And every time I turned around, they was doing some racist stuff or making some racist comments. Ah ha 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 ha. It's funny. No, it's not funny. It's not funny. This ain't funny. Tying no nooses. This ain't funny. This ain't funny. Cause all y'all ain't nothing but a bunch of suckers. All y'all ain't a bunch of clowns. Cause y'all ain't gonna really y'all ain't gonna really fight. Y'all ain't gonna really go to the grass. All y'all understand this. This pink supremacy, AKA IE white supremacy, bro, they have done nothing to uplift America. All they have done is lied, stole, usurped, uh, 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 took our things that we built and then patented them in their names. They lying. All of the pyramids, all of the mounds, all of the ologies, everything comes from Moorish science. Here in El Morocco, here in America, here in the El Maghrib, here in India Superior, here in the a Mexum. Okay, so when they say Africa, they're basically saying everything everything west of Africa is it's all American, duh. They just using slick words. You got to be able to read and weave through the words because we know who owns Google, right? The op. Our op owns Google, and our op owns Wikipedia. I didn't put out 2 or 3 videos showing y'all. They admitted it. They admitted it. Read that book. Tartary, the greatest civilization ever to be erased from history. Bro, when you read that book, it's gonna blow your mind. You're gonna learn. They admitted in that book that they purposely rewrote history. That they wrote history and they rewrote our story. Okay, and they saying it right in this book. They said they rewrote history. Yeah, because they trying to hide the Moors. That's all it is. That's all it is. Y'all read it. Y'all see what y'all the first video I showed. Y'all saw what it read, what it said. Come on, man. Let's keep it real. Let's keep it real. See, one thing about me and my channel, bro, I'm cut from a different cloth. I don't do this for subscribers and survivors and bro. I do it to inform our people. I do it to uplift fallen humanity. That's why I do everything I do. Okay, I got my Paris the More channel, and then I got my The Business channel, where I'm teaching people how to own, run, and operate your own business. And I'm showing y'all different work that I'm doing, different tools that you might need to use to do the work, and I'm teaching y'all how to do the work. And then guess what I'm charging people? Nothing. All you gotta do is hit me up on my email or something like that. I'm gonna give you my direct connect, and I'm gonna answer any question you got, man. If you got any problem with your paperwork, hit me. I got you. What's the cost? Nothing. Okay. And if you got any questions about some work that you want to do, bro, I'm gonna tell you, I can build a skyscraper by myself. Straight, straight up. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm drinking some herbal tea. I apologize. Yeah, man. But I can build a skyscraper by myself, bro. Yeah, because my dad owned a company, a rebar company, and a structural steel company by the name of Pambor Rebar Limited. He took the first initial. Shouts to you, Pop. Love you, man. Love you, Pop. Dr. Paris McGee Bay Sr., civil engineer. Doctorate. He's a doctor in civil engineering. Okay. Got 2 books out. Oh man, 2 businesses, and he's 75. And he's still strong, and he's still smart, and he's still, man, alhamdulillah. I still got my pop that I can call and get the mem sauce from. I can get teachings from. If I'm a little cloudy about something, I can call my dad, and he gonna put me on point. And all he gonna do is be. So I don't know if I told y'all this story or not, but look, on Father's Day this year, my dad went out with his wife, right? Which is, a couple years younger than him. You know what I mean? So yeah. Um uh 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 my dad went out with his wife on Father's Day. And then he came in the house at like 3 or 4 o'clock. It was 100 degrees outside here in Baltimore, right? Man, he went out back. He changed his clothes, put his boots on, put his jeans on, put a long sleeve shirt on, right, in the sun, you feel me? Because it holds in the coolness. My dad gave me the whole engineering situation about the whole thing. Cause I'm like, Dad, but what about the UV rays that's that's energizing our melanin? He was like, son, yeah, it does that too. But you also want to keep cool. And you keep cool by wearing long clothes, thin clothes that, can get windy. I mean, that wind can get through 'em, right? If you go uh, 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 any place where it's real hot, like down in the what they call now the Middle East. If you go down there, you'll see everybody covered, turbans on, and our regalia. Yeah, you'll see them in that. Right. I wore our regalia to my senior prom. Yeah. Man, listen, man. See, people don't really like to hear good things. People don't like to hear positive things. So a lot of times, man, I won't say nothing positive because everybody wanted, it's so much hatred. We us as a people, we are so sick behind social engineering and white supremacy. We have been so sick in the mind since the 1800s, man. You know, well, Doom Diverses came out in 1452. Said, go get the Saracens, right? Take everything from them and blah, blah, blah. Read that, Doom Diverses, right? So that was a little situation too. But then you had the 1800s where they just like, man, reconstructed everything. I think it was 1871. 1871, yeah. Ever since then, we got denationalized. They started calling us all these phony straw man names, titles that ain't even us. You know, we are royal, regal, vice royalty. We are the brave. We are the braves. We are the braves. You see this nut here with this noose? Yeah. Somebody had a nerve. Because I did a little commentating about it yesterday. Because, man, this is a touchy topic, man. And a lot of brothers, man, they really upset about this, man. A lot of brothers hurt behind this, man. A lot of brothers depressed and hurt behind what BGE and Exelon what they did, man. You got a lot of brothers, man, out here, man, in some real, mental, psychological depression behind y'all nasty, funky ways, y'all lower self ways. In our one-on-ones to tell you all about your lower self. Everything that's hate. Everything that hate. Every slander, lewdness, theft, usurping. Again, look up the word usurp. I ain't gonna tell. I need y'all to start reading more. We got to start reading more. There's a saying: if you want to keep something away from us, put it in a book. And there's a saying. So, man, please thumb up this video, man. Put this video out and share it, man. It's very, 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 very important. A law works in mysterious ways. And I'm going to tell you, if this thing pop, I'm taking care of the Moors. I'm trying to tell y'all now. So, hey, whatever. They can get mad all they want. I ain't scared. Man, you come to me with some stuff, boy, you better be ready. Because my puppies, they ready. I tell you, come through here acting stupid if you want to. So here's my lawyer, Tanya Barner. Okay? And she's going to go in on this whole situation. Now, Man, I was on mute, y'all. My bad. I didn't even know. I was on mute. I didn't even know. But look, Tanya Bonner, my lawyer, she went in on the Rock Newman show. Okay? And she went in. I gotta send a shout out to her because she wasn't sick. I'm scared. She was not scared. We all know that BGE redneck, hillbilly, racist, Freemason mob. That's what they are. That's what it is. I mean, but Tanya ain't scared. Tanya was one of the ones that said, I'm gonna take it on. And she ain't scared, dog. Man, all they keep coming with is trying to disbar her. They ain't coming with nothing else. But what about the guys that are psychologically and mentally traumatized behind this? They don't even bring none of that up. All they bring up is they want this bar, Miss Bonner. They want to, they want to move from this location to this location. They want to split the guy, split us up, and send us up. Man, they just trying their best to do the old white supremacy thing. And the lawyer the judge keeps saying nope, 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 nope. I think the judge is pissed. Like, y'all been acting sick and silly like this. Oh man, we gonna have to address this. And no, BG&E, you're not getting your way like what you've been getting. You're not getting your way. No, you're not getting. You can't have your way all the time. See, y'all gotta realize, man, that a law, he's sick of them. Enough is enough. So let's that Miss Bonner rock out for a minute, y'all.
It doesn't happen, but it happens in BGE because black people get fired for complaining about objectively unacceptable racist behavior. And the white people who are doing the objectively racist behavior don't get fired.
It's evident that he cares. What do you care about? Welcome to the Rock Newman Show. The Rock Newman Show.
Practices, or were they, let me say that I want to introduce and frame the subject matter that my next guest is dealing with and that we are talking about today this way. Just give me a moment. So years ago, I had several consulting jobs. One of them dealt with the area of diversity and inclusion and whether or not a major corporation had good practices or were they discriminatory. So I got into that area. And I've never been one that have been accused of not being somewhat aggressive and speaking my mind and speaking truth to power. As those of you who are regular viewers of the Rock Newman Show 2.0, you frequently hear me say, we speak truth to power, no matter who it is, no matter what it is. We speak truth to power. To the best of our ability, we speak truth. So what I learned in that consulting corporate world was some things that gave me real heartburn, where I would notice corporations who really gave lip service to equality, but didn't mean it at all. Some of the ways that they took cover was absolutely disgusting. You'd have white management, white leadership, white control, And too often, I would observe how they treated people of color that I knew was discriminatory, that I knew was unfair. They were able to get away with it in part because they would hire blacks to give them cover. They would hire a spook to sit by the door to defend them. I come out of the world of boxing. They would hire a black person to put a jab in the face of any lawyer or any complainant who was accusing them accurately, fairly, truthfully, accusing them of discrimination. I noticed it up close. I observed it over a matter of years. One of the quintessential lessons that I learned came from a major casino operator that had facilities all over the world. I was consulting for that facility. After a bit of time, they really started to more live their mission. I was pleased and proud of the role that I thought I played in helping them get to that more fair and equitable practice. Before that said, well enough, was that close?
If you give me 39 seconds, I'm going to show you how I saved $96,000 on my taxes completely audit proof. That's enough money.
Welcome to the Rock Newman Show 2.0.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank
you for shining a light on the issues that we're going to discuss today.
Okay. So, you know what? What I'd like to do, to get into this, I said you were Harvard and Stanford educated. Give us a little bit about your background. Who are you? Where did you grow up?
Okay, well, I grew up just down the road in Baltimore. Public school educated, Woodlawn High School graduate, before going to Harvard undergrad and Stanford Law, as you noted.
She's a Baltimore lady.
That's
Baltimore
right,
girl.
I can fight. I'm the first generation in my family to graduate from college. So, I had a lot of debt, and so my first several jobs out of law school were with firms. I worked for big firms in Baltimore and DC. I was fortunate enough to work for one of the best known and most reputable employment practices worldwide, the labor and employment practice of Jones Day, where I got a lot of experience handling the company complex litigation matters involving employment claims. And so I basically represented companies for a decade, the first decade of my career. I would be remiss if I didn't note that I started my career by clerking for the Chief Judge of Maryland, Robert Mack Bell, which was one of the best experiences of my career, to have the honor and the privilege to work with Judge Bell, because he is someone who lives the values that we're going to be talking about today.
Okay.
And someone who remains a big inspiration for the choices that I make in my career. After the first decade, essentially, of my career, I started my own practice representing workers in employment-related matters. Most people in the legal field would call me an employment lawyer. I think that kind of minimizes unfairly the value and the impact of what I do. I consider what I do human rights advocacy, and I consider myself a civil rights attorney, because equal opportunities with respect to employment is one of the main pillars of equality in America. Education, safe and fair housing, employment. You can't have any of those other things if you don't have the resources to provide for your family. And of course, the way that we do that is through employment. And as long as we have persistent and pervasive inequity in employment, we will continue to lag behind. People of color will continue to lag behind. Women will continue to earn 60 cents on the dollar for what men earn. So that's why I do what I do.
Okay, so I also want to just acknowledge something that may not need to be acknowledged, but there's such a long history of in your face, subtle, behind the scenes, and every other adjective that you might be able to describe discrimination. Someone asked me recently, I made a subject about something, I said, because a white guy did something, if the black guy had done it, there'd be an outcry. So, and a guy asked me, well, what did race have to do with this?
Right.
And I said, everything.
Right.
Because it does, and it has everything to do pretty much with everything. So I wanted to get that out. So
it's a good segue to what we're talking about today, because the case that you alluded to, which is a potential class action that I'm pursuing against the Baltimore Gas and Electric Company, its parent company, Exelon Corporation, and another affiliated company called Exelon Business Services Company, which is really a professional services outfit that they use to employ the lawyers and the HR people who really advise them and handle compliance for all of their utilities. At this point, there are 17 plaintiffs in the case, all black men, all utility workers who either work for BGE now or formerly worked for BGE, and have all raised disturbingly similar allegations of hostile work environment and pervasive disparate treatment with respect to promotions, assignments, opportunities for advancement, and in particular discipline. And so people say, what does race have to do with it? It's America. It taints everything that we do. It impacts everything. And if you're not looking at outcomes and taking that into account, then you're missing a big part of the story. The really noteworthy thing about the BGE case is how striking and shocking the disparities are. It's the only reason we could pursue this case and have a chance at being successful is because this is so egregious. They can't even pretend that they're trying to be fair. When you have a black man who is fired because he was away from the job for 2 hours because he didn't have any work and he went to the barbershop, and then you have a white man who for years has been, while he's supposed to be out on the job inspecting job sites, he's been on his boat. He's been on his boat. Let me say that again.
yeah.
And then after spending several hours a day on his boat, then goes out in the field and claims overtime for years. And that man still works there right now. So these are the types of egregious disparities we're talking about, that persist. And the thing is, and let me be clear, when the first of my clients first came to me, I told them we can't win. You can't win wrongful discharge cases. It's just because the bar is relatively low for the company.
And the deck is stacked.
Absolutely, the deck is stacked.
Right.
But the bar is low. If they articulate what appears to be a legitimate reason for your termination, that's usually the end of the matter. It's only because we're able to show patterns, persistent patterns, where human resources and management are very much aware of the fact that black employees are being strictly held responsible for compliance with policies, but white people get second and third and fourth chances. That's what we're able to show and shine a light on in this case. And I don't think that they're unusual. I certainly think that the Exelon companies are among the worst offenders I've ever seen, but I don't think that they're unusual within their industry. Mm-hmm. And I think there are many industries like the power industry where these pervasive kind of disparities in treatment along racial lines persist and will continue unless more lawyers get involved and hold these employers accountable for the policies that they have. They all have the right policies that say that they're fair and equitable. Yeah. They just don't follow them.
I want to give this acknowledgement also. And really say something that most people sitting in my seat probably would not say. But I have a bias. I have a bias about this because I gave an example of specific example that I was a part of a few years ago. Many years before that, I saw something happen. My father was a truck driver. He was a cement truck driver. He worked for Super Concrete, which was a white-owned company in Washington, D.C. And they had a policy that said that you had to, whoever had the most seniority as a driver had the choice of becoming a shop.
Islam family, look, I'm gonna go in. I need y'all because this is what happened yesterday when I put out the first video to just roll out the red carpet. I was kind of chills, right? I wasn't showing improving. I was just, introducing to everybody know what was going on and to stand by, right? Bro, I got like 5 or 6 comments where people was you lying. This ain't right. And they ain't doing that. But it was so much hatred, man. I don't care about that. All I do is the truth. But that let me know that it's some people out here that think that this shit is cool. Now we already know who they are. We know who they are. But it just was funny because they was like, you need to produce a name, and what is your lawyer's whole name? And y'all, you lying. You ain't bring us some paperwork and bro. First of all, I don't have to do shit. Second of all, I don't care if you don't believe me. I don't care. I mean, I don't care, man. I'm so solid. And one thing I know is Allah know everything. So all of what you think, I don't care. I don't care what you think with your left brain thinking. I don't care. Your lower self thinking. I don't care. So I'm gonna let this video rock out because I need y'all and I put the links in the description box so y'all will be able to hit them and go look at them yourself, right? It's a whole bunch of paperwork I got put together, but everything ain't for YouTube, Doug. Everything ain't for YouTube, man. Everything ain't for YouTube. Some things you gotta keep, hush. Because you don't want the op to know what you're doing, right? It ain't run to run the YouTube, run the Instagram, run the every 5 minutes you want something to say out your mouth. Boy, do you ever talk about the stuff that's going wrong? Nah. All people do is teeth all day. I'm so happy. I'm so everything going great, 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 great. Bro, that's not life. Life don't everything ain't great, 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 great. Us as divine people, you know what I mean? We supposed to create the great. We can create that. I mean, we are the original people all over the world. We are the original Carolinians. We are the original Mississippians. We are the original Americans. They are the immigrants. Okay? Slavics, Gualas, all of them, Doug. If you don't go to that 1828 Webster Dictionary and type in American, it's going to say the copper colored races found here by the Europeans. The copper colored races found by the Europeans. I'm copper. I am not black. You call me black and I'm a backhand you. You hear me? So let me let this is the reason why I'm letting this rock out, y'all. Shouts to Richard Neal Bay. Came in. Yeah, check it out, Rich. Check it out, man. I know you a smart brother and like this type of stuff, man. Yeah. See, we old school. We done been through all of the white supremacists and them talking greasy on the jobs, and we done been through all that, man. So now Allah says it's time to rock out. We rocking out. I'm gonna continue the video.
Shop steward, if they wanted, some people didn't. Some people
Right.
wanted to just keep driving. Some people wanted to be a shop steward and get that kind of experience. So it came time, and so my father was a cement truck driver at that company, and so were 4 of my brothers. My oldest brother, who's probably smarter than all of us, he was driving the truck and he had his eye on that shop steward situation. He had an impeccable record as a driver for that company. And it came time for him to be moved into the shop steward position. Some white guy with much less seniority
Right.
got that position.
Of course.
My older brother, very much not a radical, not a complainer. He goes along to get along. His feelings were hurt.
Sure.
He knew what happened. He knew that was his to get. Said, I'll get it next time. And then he didn't get it the next time. Then he didn't get it the next time. Then on the 4th time, the person behind him with a year, couple of years, as I remember it, less seniority, got it. He made a decision to quit. Made it, didn't raise hell, made a decision to quit. And what he did was he went out and he got a job as a salesperson at the Mack Truck Corporation. And the people who were there were selling, he blew them away. He blew them away. He became manager. Now, there was a difference. He did not acknowledge to the Mack Truck ownership that he was black, and they did not know because of we have about the same color and about
Right.
the same features.
Right.
They didn't know. In effect, he was passing
Yeah.
without saying, I'm passing.
Right.
So they made him the general manager of the company. He was rocking and rolling. Very, very much a spendthrift, had been saving his money all his life. He decided that he wanted to run his own concrete company. He put funds together, and with the support and help of Marion Barry and his administration, very progressive administration, got the funds to start his own concrete company. He called it what? Opportunity Concrete. And what he did, at one point they had like 48 employees. 46 were black. So I know the trauma that he went through
Right.
to get that position. So it gives me a particular bias with what I have seen. It gives me a particular bias. So when I became aware of this story, I very much wanted to highlight the particular claim that you're making against this particular company, because it is a microcosm of what happens in America.
Right.
In corporate America is something we have to fight against all the time. Now, let's get into, again, you mentioned them, but let's get into the claims and what you say are the merits of this case.
Well, you know, the first gentleman who came to me, his name is Kevin Alston, and the case has his name. We initially filed on behalf of Kevin before we added in all of the other claims and the putative class claims. But Kevin came to me, had to be at least 3 times to get me to represent him, and I kept turning him away. And you know, I said to, because at that time I was charging for initial consultations, and I said, look, you know, you lost your job. I don't want to take your money when I'm not going to be able to help you. You know, discipline cases are impossible to win. You're telling me that they claim that you got fired for not going to a job. You're telling me that they fired you. They claim that you, you know, submitted your commute time for reimbursement when you shouldn't have. You know, on the face of it, those seem like legitimate explanations that would be grounds for termination. It's just impossible. He just kept coming back to me. And you know, what he told me from the beginning that I found difficult to believe and now know to be true. Well, now believe to be true based on the evidence I've seen, given the patterns, is that he never had a chance to be successful there, because early in his career, and I should back up, Kevin was a contractor for BGE before he actually got into the company, and it's very competitive. It's very difficult to get these jobs. These are jobs where you can earn good six-figure salaries with no college degree. With overtime, you can be bringing home $200,000. They're among the last of the really good blue-collar six-figure jobs, and they're jobs that, you know, traditionally have gone to white people. Yeah. And so if you can get on, like it's like winning the lottery. It's like getting a good government job. And we're always going to need power. The nature of the power may change, but we're always going to need it. Yeah. And so he'd worked for a contractor for years and applied several times. Finally gets into the utility training program. And from the beginning, he experienced differential treatment from his trainers. But really what sabotaged his career is the fact that after classroom training, and this is kind of, you know, this is how most people in the utility worker ranks get into the industry. You have an initial kind of classroom training, and then you have on the job field training, where you work with a more experienced person in the role that you're going to be taking on. And so his on the job training, he was assigned to work with a gentleman named Keith Nizer, long-standing, experienced gas mechanic, and they were going to a job one day, and Mr. Nizer got into a dispute with some gentlemen in another vehicle in traffic. The gentleman happened to be black, and he exclaimed in his outrage at this dispute, "I hate fucking niggers," in front of Kevin. The gas mechanic job is really all utility worker positions are safety sensitive positions. You're working with electricity, you're working with gas, you're working with heavy equipment. People die, people get electrocuted, you know, people get suffocated, they have cave-ins. I mean, it really is not hyperbole to say that it's safety sensitive. And besides the fact that he was troubled that his coworker would so casually use the N-word in his presence, he also just didn't feel safe. Working with this guy who obviously had little regard for people of color. So he, you know,
because then you're going to work. If you hear somebody say that, then you're going to work to say what he said. You got to be worried about whether or not you're going to get set up by this guy.
Is this person going to be there to have my back when I need someone to do something that protects me, that keeps me safe? Is what he's telling me correct? Is what he's instructing me to do, how he's instructing me to do the job? And by the way, the feedback, I've interviewed, you know, scores of people, in excess of 80 people to file this case, which is very unusual. This is the most fact investigation I've ever done for any case that I've ever brought, because I knew I had to have receipts, like you said earlier, if I was going to have any chance of success. And so, you know, Kevin, I guess this incident happened on a Friday. Kevin went home and just pondered it and worried about it all weekend. And he comes in the next week and he goes to his supervisor and he tells his supervisor what happened. He's very clear. I don't want to get the guy fired. I just don't want to work with him. I don't want to. I want to be assigned to someone else. The supervisor, you know, obviously not believing him. I mean, the supervisor had an obligation under the company policies to report the incident to HR. But you know, they do everything halfway right. They bring in HR, who interviews him. She comes into the job site, which HR being there is noted. Everybody can see that the HR lady, who's not usually there, is there. She pulls him in, you know, and interviews him. So now everybody sees that he's the source of why HR is there. Apparently the gentleman, although this should have been a terminable offense, you would think, given all of the company's publicity and PR and brand marketing about how much they love black people and brown people and, you know, bi people and trans people.
If you're just tuning in, we're talking. She referred to BGE. That's Baltimore Gas and Electric, which is a subsidiary of Exelon.
Of Exelon, yeah, wholly owned subsidiary. You know, for our outward appearances, you would think that this is an idyllic workplace with respect to equity and inclusion issues, and it
given their marketing approach.
Yes, and their policies. I would. But from that point forward, even though Kevin specifically said, I'm not trying to get the guy fired, he was blamed for that incident being reported. He was blamed for the disciplinary action that was taken against his, white superior. From that point forward, the red was sneaky, and from that point forward, his career was really doomed. At his next job assignment, he was given kind of the worst on-the-job trainer who would deliberately give him inaccurate information. He felt very strongly that he wasn't getting the quality of training that his peers were getting. And ultimately, his career is cut short when he is discharged for supposedly not going to a job site. I'll tell you in a minute why that doesn't make sense. And for, improperly submitting his commute time, which is not compensable. I have seen the text messages that he exchanged with the union. The union verified that the dispatcher who assigned him his work verified that, Kevin wasn't released until a certain time. And so the time that he submitted was the time until he was released by dispatch to go home. Mm-hmm. That is what you're supposed to do. Mm-hmm. And his job was a gas emergency response. Mm-hmm. You can't not go to a job that's a gas emergency response job. Either you went or you didn't go. Yeah. So this idea that he didn't go is preposterous. When they met with him to have an investigation about these incidents, he told them, I have proof. I have records from my Garmin GPS showing where I went. I'm sure the dispatcher will back up that, when I was released, they didn't care. They didn't want to hear it. They fired him. The company supposedly has a progressive discipline policy. They didn't follow that. And he was summarily walked out and given a trash bag to put his personal effects in. It was devastating to him. These experiences have been devastating to all of my clients, to go from being, an admired person in the community who has a good job, who people look up to, who is easily able to support your family, to not only not having a job, but people immediately think you must have done something real bad to mess up that good job. Yeah. But also, you can't. One of the things that is especially damaging about their practices is that if you are involuntarily discharged for cause, you are then banned from working for any of their utilities, which means because they are the biggest power conglomerate, utility operator in the country, and especially here in the Mid-Atlantic, you are basically locked out of working for any of the utility companies.
To apply the experience that you had.
Correct.
To earn a living.
Right.
They're able to shut that down.
They shut it down. So you can't work on BGE's system, which means you can't work for the contractors who do, they have lots of contractors who do work for them. And you would probably be, under all, normal circumstances, be able to get a job the next day. Because the contractors need people. They want people who have the experience of working inside the company. But you can't go out and get those jobs because you're banned. And you're banned from working for BGE, which covers most of Maryland. You're banned from working for Delmarva Power, which is Southern Maryland. Pepco, which, as you know, is Howard and this part, and parts of DC.
Part of Maryland.
You're banned from Atlantic Power, company, it's A's. I can't remember the name off the top of my head. You're banned from Pico, which is Pennsylvania, and also ComEd. It covers pretty much the entirety of the Mid-Atlantic. You're going to have to go to Virginia, West Virginia, maybe DC if you get on DC.
Okay, so you.
Islam. Assalamu alaikum, Shabbat Shalom, Shalom. So yeah, man, I've been through all that. Everything that she's talking about right now, I've been through all of that. I'm talking about, bro, I don't play with my time. I'm an hour at work early. Bro, I do not play. when it come to my work, bro, I do not play, especially when you're dealing with these white supremacist, pink supremacists, cause they ain't white, they pink. If you want to use colors, okay, so let's stop with the colors, and let's do some nationality and some. And what is your nation? I will wait. So yeah, man, I just been through all this, man, and I'm not done. Let's rock out some more, dude. We're not gonna let this down. I mean, share this, man. Please share this. Please thumb it up because we gotta support each other, bro. We gotta. Ain't nobody gonna support us. We have to support each other. Unity, love. Okay. Let me finish now. Let Miss Bonner go back in. Anyways, man, everything she's saying, I went through all that. And the other 14 other brothers, they went through all that also. One of the biggest companies on the East Coast, man, will run you down, will hunt you down. And will chase you and will create a situation so you can either get fired or okay, because we used to have this thing where okay, all right, you have number two, um mechanic. That's at the bottom level. That's just first starting. You make certain amount of money. And then once you get smarter and get better, now you become a mechanic one. Then once you get really, really, really nice at everything, then they make you a crew leader, which is like a foreman. So I was trying to get this crew leader position, which everybody knew that I was qualified, but they knew that I wasn't with they white supremacy, they pink supremacy stuff. They knew that I was going to be, I was going to be the other side. So they like to keep people. They like to keep people that like Nayron Williams, and let me say this too, fair use. This is for educational purposes only. I make no money off of my videos. No money. It would be nice to get it, but I mean, hey, I ain't doing it for money. I'm doing it for the generations to come. I'm doing it for my grandchildren. I'm doing it for my I'm doing it for my grandchildren's grandchildren. That's why I do what I do. I'm cut from a different cloth, man. I'm cut from a different cloth. And if anybody's watching and y'all want to come in and rap, man, come in and rap, bro, because I know I ain't the only one that been through this. We all been through this, man. If you had a substantial job, bro, you went through this. You've been through this racism on the work, white privilege, just treating us like dirt. And we are the strongest, smartest, hardest workers out of all the nationalities. Excuse me. Yeah, y'all already know. So let me go back and let me let Miss Bonner finish.
He convinced you that he had a case that was worth fighting for.
Well, I'm not going to take that credit. I will tell you that the universe convinced me, because at the same time that I was looking at his case and trying to pursue something on his behalf, another person came to me who had an identical experience. See, when Kevin told me that his termination was tied to him reporting the N-word, by his coworker, it just didn't seem to make sense to me because it had taken 2 years. Like there was a 2-year gap. What I didn't know is that's how long it takes for them to get you, right? I didn't know that.
Right.
And in the law typically says that if there's going to be a causal connection between protected activity and some kind of adverse consequences, we usually expect to see it happen pretty soon, like within a couple of months.
Okay.
Usually the law is going to say, hey, there's not really an inference of a connection when there's that much separation. But in this context, an 18-month or 2-year gap, it makes perfect sense. It is, there needs to be some specific cause, and they set you up. It takes time for them to set you up. And they also are smart enough to know not to do it right away when you report something that is objectively egregious. And so it just happened that I was talking to Kevin when another gentleman came to me, a team lead, who had an identical experience in terms of reporting something and having it destroy his career, and then being targeted for false accusations, trumped up, exaggerated allegations of misconduct, and then being fired for something that white people do all the time. It was seeing those two experiences and the identical kind of nature of the timeline that made me realize, wait a minute, I need to look at this more closely. And so then in the context of having those two gentlemen, their experiences, I was able to interview dozens of people who, I very quickly gathered that these were not unique experiences at all. This was a pattern.
So
BGE is the only place I've ever seen, an Exelon, where you can work for a place for 30 years and get fired over some bullshit. I mean, come on, people get fired all the time when they've only been on the job for 6 months, 9 months, a year. But BGE is a place where black men consistently get fired for after 8 years, 10 years, 13 years, 20 years on the job over some nonsense. I mean, this doesn't happen in the larger arena of employment unless somebody develops like a drug habit or gets divorced, or there's some outside development that explains why someone who was good enough for 30 years suddenly got fired. It just doesn't happen. But it happens at BGE because black people get fired for complaining about objectively unacceptable racist behavior. And the white people who are doing the objectively racist behavior don't get fired, even though the company's policies would seem to suggest that that's what's supposed to happen.
If BG&E accept what is, I want you to know, if any BG&E reps are looking in here, it's a sincere invitation for you to come and sit at this table and to discuss your position, to challenge whatever Tanya might be saying. So I make an assumption in the research that I've done in trying to prepare for today's interview. BG&E, Baltimore Gas and Electric, has touted their diversity competence, their willingness to be a firm of equality for everyone, and they have loudly shouted that they hired a black person to become, was the president or CEO or both, and that is someone named, is it Calvin Butler?
Yeah, Calvin Butler was the first African-American CEO of BGE. I think he took that role in 2014, and he became the COO, I think, of Exelon in, I want to say 2019, and he is now the big boss. He is, the buck stops with him completely. He is the CEO of Exelon, of Exelon now.
And has it been your experience since you've been doing these interviews and researching this matter that he has made a difference in terms of eliminating some of the discriminatory practices, or has he behaved like the person that I talked about at the onset of this show, that was put in a position to defend master?
What I will tell you is what is in the complaint and what is public information in the papers we filed and that are public information with file with the court, some of which has been admitted to by BGE and Exelon. Mr. Lee, who I talked about, Mr. Lee reported a noose tying demonstration.
A what?
Noose tying demonstration. So a Team Lee, I told you that the reason I really started looking at this is because there was this parallel experiences between Kevin Alston and Team Lee. Kevin Alston reported his coworker using the N-word. Mr. Lee reported his trainer conducting a noose tying demonstration. This was in initial utility training. Mr. Lee was the only black trainee in his training class. I think there were
A what tying? Y'all thought I was talking trash, huh? Nah, I wasn't talking trash. Let me show it again, just in case you ain't see it. Fair use. This is for educational purposes only. Okay? I don't make money off my videos, okay? Because y'all stole subscribers from me. Y'all done all kind of dirty stuff to me. But it's cool, man. Because you know why? At the end of the day, Allah got the last word. Allah got the last word. Simple as that. That's what they talking about. That's what they talking about. This nut ass nothing was making nooses, thinking that it was a joke. Look at the smile on his face. Ah ha 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 ah 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 ah. He's showing the two brothers that's in the class, because there's only two of us. Yeah, it's 50 of them and two brothers in the whole class. You already know, man. You already know. You hear me? Look at this nut ass. Look at him. Look at him. Look at him. That shit funny. This is funny. This is funny. Bro, this is not funny. We was traumatized by these boys, man. We ain't know which way to go. Go left, go right, stay in the middle. Shit, we ain't know what to do. We ain't know what to do, man. I can laugh about this stuff now, because I done been through therapy and all kind of stuff already behind this, man. You hear me? I had to sit down and talk to a shrink behind this, man. Yeah. Behind these nuts, man. Behind these nothings. These create nothings. All they do is lower self. All they do is hatred, slander. You know what I mean? Lewdness, stealing, usurping. That's all they do. They don't do nothing God body the way we are. They don't do none of that. They don't do none of that. So now let me go back to Tanya.
five white guys in the class and Mr. Lee, and the head trainer that handled electrical training conducted a noose tying demonstration. He taught the trainees how to tie a noose. He talked about the history of nooses and how they were used to kill black people. Mr. Lee is no.
This is he was talking about. I want to be real clear on that I understand this.
Yep.
So there was
it's
noose.
Unbelievable.
It's a noose tying demonstration.
Yeah.
And he talks about how the noose was used.
Yeah.
To kill black people.
He talks about the history.
Has there been any example of why that was relevant, why he did that?
Absolutely not. In fact, it's undisputed. I mean, the Exelon companies have confirmed that there is no legitimate business reason why anybody would be teaching anybody how to tie a noose in the workplace. A simple slip knot is a knot that is used in utility work, but there's no confusing a simple slip knot with a noose. The noose has a very distinctive wrap, collection of wraps, which is what marks it as a noose and makes it so recognizable. And that is what this gentleman showed.
So it was a class. It was a class where that was done. The multiple people.
I don't believe there was actively an active class going on. There's mixed information about whether this was between classes or after class, or after they had gone to lunch and come back. But what is undisputed is that this occurred in the workplace, and this occurred in a trailer on BGE's premises. That this was done by a senior trainer. And that he talked about the history of nooses and how they were used historically. And my client, Mr. Lee, he's not an easily intimidated person. And so his response was to point out that if slaves were strong enough that they could lift themselves up out of the noose and free themselves. And the trainer, his name is Joseph Belge, the gentleman who did the noose demonstration. His response was to say, well, that's why they greased the rope. They greased the rope.
So, again, in preparation for this, we did a little research, and we came upon the gentleman that you're speaking of. What's his name? With the rope.
Joseph Belge.
And we saw the noose. It was. He was
grinning.
It was very, very chilly.
So here is one AI plugin that every musician needs to have in their studios. Would you believe me if I told you that it could
chilly? It was very, very chilly.
He was posing.
So one can only imagine, just seeing a photo of that, what the traumatic effect must have been.
It's true. I'm getting tears in my eyes talking about it right now. I can't. The sort of what would possess someone to want to terrorize someone, to want to make someone uncomfortable when they are new to the organization? And of course, that's the reason, right? Like this was by design. This is an intentional act to let you know you're not welcome here. Like this is ours.
Okay, so that happened. That happened.
But let's be clear: the pictures that are floating around on social media are from a different time.
Okay.
So he did this to my client, Mr. Lee, in 2018. There are pictures showing that he did this in 2016. He did it to two of my other clients, Marcus Ragsdale.
Were
and
they
Quentin
report?
Pearson.
Did your other clients report him, or did
No.
they didn't report him?
No, they didn't report him. This was one of many incidents that they experienced in training that was aggressively hostile on the basis of race. They observed the comfort with which he behaved this way, along with other things that they observed in the larger culture of the company, and they were fearful of retaliation. It's just that simple. They were afraid that they would lose their jobs if they reported it, and of course, we know from Mr. Lee's experience that was a reasonable fear to have, because Mr. Lee was targeted after he reported that noose incident, even though there was an investigation that confirmed that he conducted a demonstration, that other trainees actually tied nooses or the beginnings of nooses under this employee's direction. The man was written up. Again, there was a temporary reduction in pay, but he kept his job. And Mr. Lee was targeted as a snitch after that.
So Tanya, again, part of the reason I want to do this is because you have to be asleep and buried not to know about discrimination in corporate America. This is, again, I see it as a microcosm. Do you have any other examples of some of their, discriminatory behavior?
How much time do you have? I mean, I think that one of the reasons that I, wanted to be here today to talk about this subject is because I feel like it is important for the general public to know. And this is not something I'm saying based simply on the BGE case, news case.
Yeah.
You know, I've been doing this for 20 years.
Yeah.
I've been representing individuals for, you know, at least a decade. And first of all, anybody who thinks that this is a post-racial America and that, you know, racism is not that big of a deal because there are a lot of prominent individual black people who've achieved significant and exceptional things. They think that racism is over because of that are mistaken. Racism is as bad and as pervasive as it's been in my lifetime, certainly. And it has real serious consequences with respect to the lifetime earning capacity and career opportunities for black people especially. And it has a significant impact on health. It has a real impact on health. This is not petty. This is not just words that are offensive. It causes trauma. It causes depression. It causes hypertension, you know, stomach ailments, Crohn's disease. There's a litany of real physical and mental health conditions that are tied to the trauma that especially black people, but people of color in general, continue to experience in the workplace. And it is not just confined to the power industry. It is fairly commonplace.
This, what I'm getting ready to say here, I've said before, but I think it bears repeating. I was with a classmate last year, and he's a very high-ranking person in the medical industry. And on his job, he's at his job. It's an advocacy group, and he's a high-ranking official. And I casually called him up before I was leaving North Carolina and said, "Hey man, what are you doing this evening? You want to go out and grab something?" He said, "Nah, Rock, I'm a lay low." He said, I'm just here at the crib trying to get my head right to go deal with these white folks tomorrow." And he said it very casually, in a very cavalier kind of way.
Yeah.
But I thought about that as to what black people have to do. Here's a high-ranking, highly accomplished, very educated, one of the, oh my God, he in college and today, one of the best dressed, dapper brothers you'll ever see. Not a troublemaker, don't wave red, black, and green flags or none of that. Just as tried to do the right thing, played the game the way they suggest you play the game. But what they don't know and what they don't understand, and I think what they don't care about, is when you make that kind of statement, you make that statement from a place of trauma.
Right.
I got to get my head right, which is something that they never have to think about, that white folks never ever have to think about. So when it comes to the issues of high blood pressure and all kinds of medical maladies that happen, you wonder, oh, well, how come black people have this going on? How come black folks have that going?
People should be asking, how come we aren't more upset? How come we aren't going off the handle more, given what we have to carry? I mean, I said ultimately that I was going to pursue this as a class action because I will not have one more black father come to me for help and sit in my office and cry like a baby as they have to sit there and describe to me not being able to provide for their family, having to pull their children out of private school over some bullshit, over something petty, because they complained about something that was legitimate. And, the things like the N-word and nooses get a lot of attention from the public. Yeah. But the bigger concern for me is the systemic
Islam. So I got to shout out my brother PNF Research Channel. Man, I love you, bro. He was the one that rung the bell. He rung the alarm. He said, boy, yeah, it's time to start questioning these white pink supremacists. Because they ain't white. They pink. Why the hell we keep calling them white? They not white. Nowhere near. Status, whatever. Complexion, whatever. Y'all pink. Just like pigs. Yeah. So I gotta give a shout out to PNF, man, because he rung the alarm, bro. It's time for us to start dealing with these clowns. And guess what? They scared to death. They won't say shit. Everything they say, they hide behind. They never show their face. You know, what's the one? Hoodwink or something like that. They be coming to my channel saying a whole bunch of dumb shit. I be like, I ignore them. I don't even pay no attention to them. But look, PNF went in, and bro, I got to get me some of this, bro. PNF got to get me some of this, bro. I got to get me some of this, man, because I have been traumatized, bro, in Baltimore behind the police, putting drugs on us, putting guns on us. You know, man, just doing a whole bunch of nasty shit. Work at work, you know, pink people, they obviously privileged. They the ones that be getting the manager jobs, and you really ain't no manager. You ain't smarter than me, and you don't know half the shit I know. Only reason why you a man is because you pink. That's it. That's all. They stick together. But I'm trying to tell you, one of the things that we got to start doing, sticking together. Bro, do you understand that if we start being the people that we really are, can't nobody stop us, bro. Can't nobody stop us. But we got to stop killing each other about stupid shit. We got to stop, you know, all the twerking on the headlights and man, fuck all of that, Doug. Man, when is we gonna start acting like these regal, royal, nobility people that we are? We are the vice royalty. We are the noble, the regal, the royal, the everything. All of the ologies come from more science, bro. Them little TPs, them wigwams, them Indians want to claim. Y'all can claim that little dumbass shit. Cause bro, we built castles on the side of hills. Boy, we was the one that took the Europeans out of the Dark Ages. Us Moors here in America. We was one that went over there to help them. Boy, this is soap. This is called soap. Wash your ass, first of all. Stop eating all this pork and get your mind right. Slap up. I mean, y'all good now? Okay, we going now. We going back home. You feel me? Yeah. Come right back. Yeah. Y'all thinking that we've been back and forth, 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 back and forth. Yeah. They've reconstructed history. Bullshit. All of it's lies. All of it is lies. And guess what? Allah dispatched the warrior souls, buddy, and we here. So it is what it is. Like I said again, shout to PNF Research Channel, bro. I will be jumping on the bandwagon with you, bro, because I ain't scared, and I've been through a lot of trauma behind pink supremacy. Y'all ain't no white supremacy. Y'all ain't white. Y'all pink, same color as a pig. Let me let Tanya finish going in. There's more to come. I got a whole bunch of stuff. Boy. We've been waiting for years for this year, man, where we can really go in. We get the documentary together. Y'all know I'm in film school right now. So we putting together a documentary about it. And we're going to do a whole bunch of other things too. But, you know, I don't bring everything to social media. Social media don't got know my every move. That's one of the problems that we got. Stop telling them your every move, dog. Okay? I apologize. I'm from Baltimore. That's what we say. Dog. Remember my bad. What's up, dog? What's going on? That's how we talk. That's our Algonquin. See? Well, our Algonquin is the way that we talk. Like people can't understand the way that we talk unless you us, because we talk a certain type of slangish type of, that's our way of talking. But we know that our ancient way of talking is Latin, Arabic, Turkish, Caramanly of the Carolinian language, which I'm studying now, and I'm gonna do part 4, inshallah, soon. What else? I think I said everything. Yeah, but that Algonquin, man, that's ours too. The Moors got everything, man. Everything, man. The Moors, man. Listen, man. The Moors, man. Do you understand that the Greeks couldn't even get the knot? We was trying to teach the Greeks how to, clean up, how to build aqueducts and all. It was in the Twilight Zone. Like, what in the heck is they talking about? They was idiots. They couldn't figure out nothing. That's why we know by your IQ who you are. If certain things don't settle in, if you don't understand nationality and this word black and all, man, I asked a 62-year-old sister. I said, what does the word black mean? She said the word black means Africa. Bro, I'm so sorry, but I'll be laughing at this at the back. But there ain't no reason why you 62 years old and you don't know the real definition of the word black. But you always pumping your fist up, top mouth. I'm a proud black. But you know what the word black means? Why would you tie yourself to calamity, to evil, to, all the dirtiest, filthiest, funkiest, wickedest things you could think of? Why? Because they said you black? You believe that shit? The government ain't never did nothing right for us, Doug. Right now, they right now they get ready. Boys about to get crazy. Because these girls is on social service, boy, they getting cut. Like from a stack all the way down to like 200, from like 800 down to 100. Like, oh my goodness, boy. So you got to get ready. It's going to start getting crazy because y'all already know that's going to create. Brothers going to start bringing the guns out. They're going to start robbing shit. They're going to take them more fentanyl. Man, just get ready, man, because the G Mint, they get ready to start coming hard, man. The immigrants, they live better than us, man. Us Americans, they live better than us, man. Crazy. So let me let Miss Bonner finish going in. Or let me get the mute off. I want y'all to check, and I left the links in the description box, man. Y'all can go ahead and check it out again. Hold up.
Disparities with respect to promotional opportunities and discipline. I'll give you another example from our case. Marcus Ragsdale and Trelane Hill. Marcus had been at the company 8 years, perfectly good performance reviews, above average, fully performing. Trelane Hill, 30-year employee. They were dispatched to a piece of equipment that had malfunctioned. The equipment malfunctioned again while they were on site. It caused a power outage that impacted 1,200 employees. The company, even though equipment malfunctions or misoperations, as they call them in the industry, are common. They happen all the time. Other people on their teams had experienced misoperations within the prior year and had not been accused of incompetence or dishonesty. But these two black men were accused of incompetence and dishonesty. And this is how stupid it is, right? They were accused of tampering with the equipment to cover up that they had messed up something, but they were accused, like the way that they supposedly tampered with the equipment is something that you have to be an expert to do. So it's like, okay, they were dumb enough to make the equipment malfunction, but smart enough to try to cover it up in some way that only a subject matter expert would know how to do. It's ludicrous. But this is the links, the mental gymnastics that management and HR go through to assume that if a black person does something, it has to be dishonest due to dishonesty or incompetence, when white people routinely get the benefit of the doubt. Oh, equipment malfunction. No worries. Not even investigated. Not investigated, not fired. These men were fired, and not just for incompetence, for lying and being dishonest during the company investigation. And what's really crazy is they had people on their team. The subject matter expert on their team said, yeah, this was an equipment malfunction. But management and HR bent over backwards to come up with some convoluted theory as to how they had caused a defective piece of equipment to misoperate again and fired them. It's crazy.
Black folks, we have a full-time job. Being black is a full-time job. And you just describe all of what you described, which is logical, quite plausible, especially if you're black, in knowing that this is a reality. But too often, we go before a white judge who doesn't have the same understanding and can't have the same understanding. Therefore, because sometimes the letter of the law doesn't serve you justice. I ain't a lawyer or a law professor, but I know that if you don't have and you don't understand some of the nuance of what you're talking about and its impact on the individual and then the community, well, you kind of see it as like you got this in writing here and you got this in writing, and too often we don't get justice as a result of who's sitting there meting out the so-called justice. So
can I just I'll just push back a little bit. I won't disagree that there is not enough representation on the bench with respect to race or gender, for sure. And more often than not, my clients will find themselves in front of a judge who doesn't look like them. But first and foremost, I as an attorney have to do my job in putting the information in front of the judge. And what I have found is, BG and Exelon, they've gotten away with, this isn't the first time they've been accused of race discrimination. They get accused of race discrimination by black former employees. It's a perennial thing, at least every other year or so. They routinely get away with it. The cases are dismissed or they get summary judgment. But, I hold the lawyers accountable because they need to put the evidence there. Yeah. And, that's why I spent over a year investigating the allegations in this case, talking to dozens and dozens of witnesses, corroborating what people told me, cross-referencing what I heard from witnesses, getting them to identify others who could substantiate what they were saying, collecting documents. How many people are you now representing in this lawsuit? There are 17 plaintiffs in the case. There are, originally the case was filed on behalf of Mr. Alston. We then added another 6 to the case when we first added class claims. The class claims are on behalf of ex-BGE employees who have been banned from working and who have basically been locked out of the utility industry in this region because of their having been terminated by BGE. And we believe that in every case for those individuals that we can show that they shouldn't have been fired. They were fired under circumstances where white people are not fired. And we believe that the patterns will show that there is a huge disproportionate application of their disciplinary policies and procedures. And, ironically, the Exelon companies have all these policies that are supposed to limit discretion and ostensibly require management to be fair, but they don't actually get applied fairly. And there is discretion for local management to kind of ignore those policies. And so what ends up happening is that the rules are really only strictly applied to black people. And I feel like they have a drug and alcohol policy, which is a perfect example. A number of my clients were impacted by the drug and alcohol policy. Several of them for using medical marijuana that they actually disclosed to the company. Malik Smith is the best example. This is a gentleman who worked for the company for 13 years. He's on the cover of BGE magazine, I think twice. He was an outstanding employee. And he had a supervisor, a white woman supervisor, who had a pattern of being disrespectful, dismissive to her black subordinates. And Mr. Smith told his supervisor that he was gonna report her behavior to her new supervisor. And right after that, he was sent for a DOT drug and alcohol test that revealed, which should not have been a surprise, trace amounts of marijuana.
Yeah.